All right, squad, so we're here with Mike McFerrin, the pitching lab coordinator.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. So we're in the pitching lab, obviously. You kind of mentioned to me off camera that it's making it difficult that I'm not a pitcher, but I'm gonna be a pitcher for today.
You're gonna be a pitcher by the end of the day, man. We got you.
Kind of walk me through what we're gonna go through today and what I should be getting out of this.
Yeah, we're gonna take you through a mock brief assessment of how we would take a look at how someone's moving through their pitching delivery, and kind of give you an assessment of where we think you can be a more efficient mover, a more powerful mover, and a better pitcher overall.
Now, is it true that all 30 MLB teams have come and visited this space?
Yeah, I think in some capacity. I don't have each one checked off. We have something called the Bridge Seminar, which we run in the off season, where we had 24 of 30 professional teams send their staff to come learn from what we're doing and share some thoughts from other experts from around the baseball community. So yeah, they're coming in and checking out.
And coming into this space, what's your favorite kind of piece of equipment that you like to work with?
Yeah, I get this a lot, and my honest answer is my phone.
Okay.
As much great stuff that we have here, the camera in my pocket and the communication device that comes with that is easily our biggest tool. Once we have an idea biomechanically what we want them to do, we'll film them on our phones and cast it up to the TV and show them through video kind of what we're looking for.
Now, is this only Wake Forest guys that get access to this facility, or anybody?
No, it's open to the public. We work with quite a few big leaguers now at this point, minor leaguers included in that. And we'll also take care of high school or college kids. It's open from anybody who's 12 and up, but most of the time we see anybody who's from high school to the big leagues. We take a look at everything before we get hands-on with our guys and make any kind of changes. So the first thing we'll do is look at your movement screen and how you're moving, and assess the way that your hips and shoulders and your T-spine are all capable of moving, some stability stuff to make sure you're interacting with the ground properly. And then from that point, we'll take a look at how you're moving with a biomechanical assessment. We'll put the dots all over you and measure where you're moving throughout space. And then usually we would clean up the data and take a look at you, but today we'll just take a look at some video and give you some tips on what we can do to get you better.
So we go, how far can you externally rotate? And then how far can you internally rotate? And we do it for both arms, and then we compare the two. And so one thing that we typically look at is the arc of rotation. So not necessarily can you externally rotate your throwing arm more than your non-throwing arm, but is the whole arc similar? So typically a pitcher will be able to externally rotate their throwing arm quite a bit more than their non-throwing arm. So then we would typically measure your internal rotation of your hip, and then external rotation of your hip, and then compare that to kind of the normal range. A lot of pitchers tend to be tight in their hips, which then limits your ability to kind of rotate and open up and throw the ball. So something else that we look at is rotator cuff strength. And so we want to see how strong your rotator cuff is. So not your pec or your bicep, but just those ones that internally and externally rotate your arm. So this is the same technology that they use to make video games and movies to make the characters look realistic. Typically we have players take their shirts off because we want to put these on their skin and not on a shirt that's going to move around and not actually represent what their body is doing. So there ends up being 41, I believe, of these markers.
How much of this is injury prevention versus performance enhancement?
So I would say in here, we approach both equally. You can't perform if you're injured, and so we really want to focus on that injury prevention, and the performance kind of comes along as a benefit. So the first thing we would need you to do is stand right in front of the rubber facing the camera. Okay. And hold your arms like this, like you're skiing.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, so walk me through, what is my setup?
Back of your foot's gonna go right against the rubber right there.
Okay.
Yep. And you're gonna come set and pause for a quick second and then fire away, my man.
Okay.
It's much harder than it looks. There you go. So you threw it 41.7 miles an hour, you had almost 12 inches of vert, your spin rate was 1,045, and you had an 1115 tilt on the spin. So it's tracking everything from when it leaves your hand to when it gets to the plate.
So we just went through my data, right?
Yep.
Just based on how I was pitching, my mechanics, what kind of things can we work on next to kind of shore that up and get better with that?
Number one, I think you just need practice, right?
Okay.
It's like shooting free throws. If you're terrible at shooting free throws, and you might as well start practicing your free throw shot, right, over and over again. So I would say, like, you overall, you don't have a ton of baseball experience, so we would just want you to throw a lot and just get used to throwing. We want to form guys' habits and what they're doing consistently. So we tailor how guys are moving based on what we want their pitches to play like through their routine, so that it becomes a habit on a daily basis. Everything in pitching is rotation. So the tighter you can make that rotation, the faster those rotational speeds are going to happen, and the more your sequence is going to tend to line up that way, right? And the second piece is in lining up your sequence with specific drills that are going to help you transfer energy through your body, right? So one thing's about producing force, and the output of force is a different thing in how well the energy transfers through your body. So we want to set up your body to receive and transfer that energy well. And we do that through tightening up everybody's rotation. The first thing is just you being educated on what you need to do, right? So we'll do what we just did. We'll walk you through some big leaguers, matching planes for this specific example, so you understand what it is, explain it to you. We'll put you in an environment where you're kind of forced to feel the way that we want you to move, which is different than how you're actually moving. And then we'll film those differences and then show you the differences over and over again so you can get an understanding from the inside out. So if you just want to come to, let's put your back foot right here, and I just want you to go through your pitching motion. And I want you to put your, you have your glove on? Perfect. I want you to put the glove, see that dot above the 2 pieces of tape right there?
Yep.
So when you get to this point, I want you to put the glove right over that dot and then trace the movement of your front arm over the piece of tape, and just feel like you're elbowing yourself right in the oblique. Yep, perfect. Beautiful, man. So take a look now. Tracing those pieces of tapes beautifully, right?
I definitely see a big difference already, because the first one I was helicopter.
So I'll ask you, did you feel anything different, or?
Feel, not really. I think the mental cue of saying, like, just be loose.
Yes.
The first time I was like thinking of arm, trace, throw, versus just being athletic.
It's a really fine line to balance with these guys, and we fight the same problem with guys who are, really elite at it. But we want to take their natural athleticism and let that shine, and just build new habits on top of that athleticism.